So, hi everyone. This is Ben from Technologically Curious, and this has been playing on my mind recently. And this is around the negative news around Tesla. I have my friends and family often ask me, "Do you regret buying a Tesla? Do you feel your car is safe? Are you worried it'll get damaged?" To be honest, my simple answer is I do not know if my car will be safe, but I do know one thing. I do not regret buying a Tesla. I don't want to be convincing you to buy a Tesla for political reasons. No, that's not me, or because of who owns the company. This is just me trying to share my experience, my personal experience owning a Tesla for more than 4 years now. So this video is for those who are in the market for a new car, who have never owned a Tesla and are on the fence of buying one. And more importantly, this is for those who truly feel or really care about the value that a car adds to their lifestyle, to their budget. Spoiler alert, this is not that kind of a video that's a top 10 or top 20 features why you should buy a Tesla. It's all about the experience, and you'll get to understand that soon. So let me give you a bit of context. I have owned a Tesla since 2021. So in 2021, I bought a Tesla Model Y. For a brief moment, I had a Tesla Model 3, and then I recently upgraded to the Tesla Model X. Before I owned a Tesla, my view or my perspective about owning a car was very different. It was all about features, it was all about luxury, aesthetics, comfort. Don't get me wrong, these are important. But Tesla has completely changed my perspective of how I view car ownership, and this is something I want to share with you. Here's the thing about those traditional selling points: comfort, features, aesthetics. These are novelties that kind of wear off over time, and you soon feel the need to upgrade to a new car. But what really remains constant and true is the experience. Now, what do I mean by experience? Let's take the buying process, for example. With traditional car dealerships, it involves you visiting multiple dealerships, aggressive negotiations, and then there's endless amount of trims and levels and packages to compare and make sure that actually the car that's in the inventory really meets your purpose. And 9 out of 10 times, you're buying something with a package that you really didn't want. Then there is this scenario where you go to a Honda Civic dealership and you observe the buyers out there, and 3 buyers will come out that day with 3 different prices that they get on a car that's exactly the same. That doesn't work with Tesla. Pricing, the buying ownership, everything is transparent. See, with traditional buying, you're always aware that a salesperson that's trying to be really nice to you is definitely doing the best he can to get the maximum commission out of you. And that's a very opposing relationship to begin with, right? I mean, at the end of that experience, you don't know whether you were happy buying a car or you were glad that the whole buying process was done. Okay, so I had to change my position. The sun keeps moving around. So the Tesla, things are a little different. You book a demo online, then you head to the store, you scan your license, they'll give you a key card, and they'll kind of explain how the process is driving a Tesla, because it's a little different from traditional cars. You don't need a key fob, which is actually a nice experience by itself. You take the car for 30 minutes and there is no pressure when you come back to buy the car, because Tesla salespeople do not work on commissions. And then they can help you buy the car over there if you really like it, or you can go back, think about it, and then buy it online. And it's very simple buying it online. They are very transparent with the type of packages that are available. Actually, they are not even packages, they're just trims. You just either choose if you like long range or you want to go for a performance, whichever car it might be. Once you get that, then you choose your exterior, your interior, the wheels, and that's about it. There's nothing much. Maybe you have to add a tow hitch if it's an SUV, and then there's full self-driving if you want to choose, but I highly recommend not to buy that software without trying it. But that's about it. It's simple. Every car is the same. You get exactly what you want, from the exterior to the interior. All the features, from ventilated seats to heated steering wheel, that's all available on all the trims. That's the buying experience that doesn't feel like it's pushed, and you, if anything, you're just excited to wait when your Tesla is ready for delivery. And that's an experience that only once you buy a car, you will kind of understand. Think about why consumers love Apple products. It's all about the experience. You just know that Apple products just work seamlessly. Tesla provides the same kind of experience. They are a software company, so they put a lot of effort into software and the experience, and really less is put towards the features of the car. And that's why the designs of Tesla are so minimal. In my last 4 years of owning a Tesla Model Y, I drove the car for nearly 90,000 miles. And never once did I have to change the brake fluid. Never once did I have to change the brakes. All I had to do was, after 40,000 miles, change my tires, do tire rotations every 8,000 miles, which you have to do, change the wiper fluid, and maybe change the cabin filters twice. Each one cost around $40. That's about it. Now, compare that to traditional non-electric cars. Visiting the service dealership every 5,000 miles. That doesn't just involve the cost that is associated with these visits, but also the time that you have to take from your regular schedule to go for these service appointments. That means a lot in the entire experience. And that begs the question, why should we go back to the traditional way of owning a car, which involves your time and money, when everything nowadays is software-based? For those who have not owned an electric car, charging might actually be a disadvantage, but trust me, it's not. Now, I charge my car 90% of the time at home, and my electricity bill comes to around $50 additional a month. And considering that I charge it every day, that's not much. That has a lot to do with me charging at off-peak times. So in my town, anywhere between 10:15 and 5:30 to 6 a.m. is an off-peak time. So that's the best time to charge, and I take advantage of that. But you're always going to charge only as much as you use the car. So it's just like your phone, where you just charge the car at home in the night, and in the morning you have a full charge, and that's about it. I don't have to be worried about standing in the cold, at least in the East Coast, at the gas station, filling up gas for 5 to 10 minutes. The car is charged and ready to go. I can precondition my car to heat up exactly at the time when I leave for work, and exactly at the time when I leave from work back home. Yes, on long road trips, you have to stop to charge, but that's typically every 2 to 2.5 hours. Breaks you should be taking anyways. Tesla superchargers, by the way, are strategically located just off highways near restaurants and service areas. Now, in most cases, you can charge from 0 to 50% in as much time that it would take you to go and grab snacks or use the restroom. And that's the time that you anyways want after a long 2-hour road trip. I've done a lot of road trips from New York right up to Florida Keys to Canada. And if you plan it well, you can actually travel for your vacation for free. Many offices, hospitals, malls, and parking garages offer free charging. Tesla's charging network evolves constantly. Since my 2021 Model Y, we have upgraded our Tesla superchargers from V2s to V4s, which drastically improves the charging speeds. Now, even the map shows you how many charging stalls will be available when you arrive, accounting for even other Teslas heading to the same location. And that's so convenient. These continuous improvements that happen on a software front make you feel like during the entire Tesla ownership that it's less of a asset depreciation and more of a technology getting better over time. That's a nice way of looking at it. Remember when I told you that features, aesthetics, comfort, luxury, these are novelties that kind of wear off after a certain point. What really keeps the ownership exciting is that Tesla pushes these software updates. So you could wake up one day and your car could do something that your car didn't do a day before. And there's nothing more joyous than that. From the day I bought my Tesla Model Y to when I sold it, the car evolved tremendously. Features that weren't available when I bought it, like camera views when turning, traffic light notifications, improved maps showing coffee shops along my route, all arrived through these free software updates. It gives you a feeling that you own a new model each year. See, Tesla doesn't update the physical aspects of the car much. They distinctively remain the same ever since they are introduced. Just take the example of the Tesla Model X that I'm sitting in. It was introduced back in 2016 and it has pretty much remained the same since then. And that's a decade ago. And even a 2025 BMW X5 won't draw as much attention than the Tesla Model X. So we have a Hyundai Ioniq hybrid, and me and my wife often compete to drive the Tesla Model X. We are very reluctant to drive the hybrid. And every time I have to go for a short grocery run, I tend to leave my car on, or I tend to leave my car unlocked and I just walk, because these are traditional kind of rituals that don't exist in a Tesla. And that is something that keeps me wondering how I have changed my views about a car. I mean, I've forgotten the traditional ways completely. The Tesla recognizes you, and this seamless relationship is something that I can't get away from. It's making us think that it's time for us to actually buy another Tesla for a good problem that we have. Don't get me wrong, legacy companies are actually coming up with these features, and by the time they all catch up to it, Tesla is going to come up with the next big thing. So traditional companies will always be playing catch up, at least for now. Let's talk about more experiences, right? So for those rare service appointments that I have to do, I just want to kind of explain to you how seamless it is. You book an appointment, you can actually have a mobile visit if you want to, or you can go in store. You do it all through the app. Once you go to the service center, you hand over the car. They don't need your keys because they are keyless now. And you just, if it takes more than 30 minutes, they'll give you a loaner, and that's about it. You then get a notification on your mobile app that your car is ready. You bring the loaner back. You don't even have to meet any service person out there. You drop the car at the parking lot, you pick up your own car, and you just leave. Everything is done seamlessly. And that is something that really feels like, I do not know, that's luxury to me. That's the luxury of time, of that seamless experience that I can't explain. If you have an Amazon account, right? I mean, you're returning products on Amazon. Each time you return it, you often notice that there's this additional new way of making the return process so much easy. And that's what Tesla is, you know, from everyday ownership to the service experience. It's also seamless, and this is something that is so difficult. It's so difficult for me to just ignore and go to another car, because I'm afraid that some doofus around there is trying to damage a car, which you shouldn't be doing to anyone's car, period. There's something about, you know, your car being noticed. Many people are often intrigued by Teslas, and they're genuinely curious about, you know, the Tesla, its full self-driving capabilities, the car driving itself in the parking lot of a grocery store, the light shows, all of that kind of makes you kind of feel nice about sharing your experience in a positive way. Tesla is a disruptor, and that's a good thing. And I genuinely want more car manufacturers to think like that, to be more like that. Owning a car doesn't have to be the way it always has been. Software is just taking over the world. We all know that. And it's time for cars to think differently. I love both cars and technology. You give me both in one package, and no social or political pressure is going to convince me otherwise. If it adds value to my lifestyle and my budget, why not? Am I biased towards Tesla? Maybe, but I'm also open to alternatives. If there's a car company out there that will offer the same experience, then I'm open to it. But until then, there's no company that's moving as fast as Tesla does in terms of technology improvements. And that's something that I really value. And hey, I haven't even gotten to the performance side of it. But I'm not going to get to that. I want you to test drive the car if you haven't test driven a Tesla before, and tell me what you think about it. This is Ben from Technologically Curious, and I'm proud I own a Tesla.